For those who truly believe the NFL is scripted, there might be some compelling coincidences that cannot be ignored.
Have you heard about the Super Bowl logo conspiracy?
No.
Oh, yes, I did.
Internet detectives picked up on a fascinating trend. That is, the colors of the Super Bowl logo for that year foreshadowed which two teams would play in the big game. Starting with Super Bowl 56 between the Los Angeles Rams and Cincinnati Bengals in the 2021 season, as you can see, the logo for Super Bowl 56 featured dark orange colors and just a little bit of yellow. Well, obviously, orange is the main color of the Bengals jerseys. Yellow and blue are the Rams' two main colors. While the Matthew Stafford-led Rams were one of the main Super Bowl favorites heading into the 2021 season, nobody in their wildest imaginations thought that Cincinnati had a chance. Their pre-Super Bowl odds were plus 15,000, tied with the New York Jets for second lowest behind the Houston Texans and Detroit Lions. Joe Burrow was coming off a season-ending knee injury that derailed his rookie year, not to mention Cincy was coming off a fifth straight losing season. Well, the Bengals just managed to stun the entire NFL by winning the AFC North with a 10-7 record, highlighted by a statement Week 17 home win over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals took down the Las Vegas Raiders in wildcard weekend to secure their first playoff berth since 1990. Burrow and company then stunned the top-seeded Tennessee Titans in the divisional round to punch their ticket to the AFC Championship game. The Bengals' Cinderella run was supposed to end at the hands of the mighty Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium, but the Bengals erased a 21-3 deficit and went on to win in overtime. Hours later, the Rams held off the NFC West rival San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game to set up a date with the Bengals, thus kick-starting the enticing Super Bowl logo conspiracy theory. 1 year after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became the first team to play in and win a Super Bowl inside their own stadium, the Rams followed that exact same script. The Rams won 23-20 inside their home venue of SoFi Stadium to win their first Super Bowl in 22 years. Super Bowl 57, Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles. After two disappointing playoff exits, the Chiefs and Eagles were two of football's busiest teams in the 2022 offseason. In a stunning blockbuster move, the Chiefs decided not to pay Tyreek Hill and sent the All-Pro wideout to the Miami Dolphins. GM Brett Veach spent that money to bring in more impact players, signing veteran safety Justin Reed and speedy wideouts Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. To put the cherry on top of the wide receiver facelift, he used a second-round pick on Western Michigan receiver Sky Moore. The Eagles, put simply, had a dream offseason for the ages. They signed sack specialist Hassan Reddick and All-Pro cornerback James Bradbury to bolster their defense, and managed to pull off blockbuster trades for Tennessee Titans superstar wideout A.J. Brown and New Orleans Saints defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. On top of all that, GM Howie Roseman grabbed hulking Georgia defensive tackle Jordan Davis with the number 13 pick in the draft. Now the Eagles were locked and loaded for a Super Bowl run. Sure enough, the Eagles and Chiefs both finished as the top seeds in their respective conferences to secure first-round byes. Philly crushed the New York Giants in the divisional round and made easy work of the quarterback-deprived San Francisco 49ers, who had to use Christian McCaffrey at QB in the NFC Championship game. KC managed to hold off a resilient Jacksonville Jaguars team in the divisional round, then got some oh-so-sweet revenge by defeating Joe Burrow's Bengals in the AFC Championship game on Harrison Butker's last-second game-winning field goal. So, the first ever Eagles vs. Chiefs Super Bowl showdown had been set. Oh, but wait, what were the colors of the Super Bowl 57 logo, you ask? Oh, you know, just the usual, the shade of the Eagles' dark green and the Chiefs' main red colors. You ever hear that old saying, once is a chance, twice is a coincidence, three times is a pattern? Well, if it's true, then we're in coincidence territory here. Anyhow, the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl 38-35 on a last-second Butker field goal. This otherwise thrilling game and all-time classic was largely overshadowed by a very controversial defensive holding call on James Bradbury while defending Juju Smith-Schuster. That penalty allowed KC to kill the clock so Butker could play hero, leaving the Eagles with only a few seconds to attempt a miracle that went unanswered. And yes, that questionable penalty only fueled the theory that the game was scripted or rigged in some aspect for Kansas City. And even aside from that, it was just a really lame way for this game to end. Okay, so the Super Bowl logo conspiracy theory has held up 2 years in a row. Now, what happened the following year? Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. Oh man, death, taxes, and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The 2023 squad actually finished 11-6, marking their worst regular season record with Patrick Mahomes as their starter. Kansas City's offense was out of sync all year, and it certainly felt like their bid to complete the first Super Bowl repeat in 2019 years would fall well short, especially after finishing as the AFC's number 3 seed. Oh, did we mention the Super Bowl 58 logo was mostly purple colors with just a little bit of red? So obviously, time was up for Kansas City. This was the Baltimore Ravens year, damn it. The Chiefs got past the Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills to set up a date with the top-seeded Ravens, led by MVP Lamar Jackson. So now it was time for Baltimore to honor their Super Bowl logo conspiracy theory on the AFC side, with purple being one of their main colors and all that. But no, the Ravens committed far too many self-inflicted mistakes and dropped a 17-10 decision to the Chiefs in a defensive slugfest. Mahomes and the KC offense didn't play their best, but they did just enough to reach the Super Bowl for the 4th time in 5 years. But cry not, conspiracy theorists, the 49ers finished as the conference's top seed and snuck past the Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions on the NFC side of the bracket to set up a Super Bowl 54 rematch with the Chiefs at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And with the shades of red in the Super Bowl 58 logo, the 49ers kept the conspiracy theory half alive. You can look at it that way, but some folks like to point out that the red in the logo symbolizes both the Chiefs and the 49ers. Or if you really want to stretch it, and some people certainly have, you can point out that Taylor Swift wore purple on her Speak Now album that was released in 2010. Anyway, the Chiefs defeated the 49ers 25-22 in overtime, with Mahomes throwing the walk-off touchdown to McCole Hardman. With that, their dynasty was cemented, with KC winning a second straight Super Bowl in their 3rd in 5 years. So how about we go ahead and deem the logo theory for Super Bowl 58 half true. But would the trend end once and for all in Super Bowl 59, set inside the New Orleans Saints home venue, the Caesars Superdome? Super Bowl 59, Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles. The Super Bowl 59 logo features a nice mix of red, purple, green, and yellow. So if you go by the color scheme alone, we suppose more than a dozen teams were eligible for the logo conspiracy theory here. Let's see, we got the Chiefs, Eagles, Ravens, 49ers, Rams, Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and New York Jets. And that's just a handful of the teams whose colors were featured in the Super Bowl 59 logo. The Eagles were the number 2 seed in the NFC and danced through the Packers, Rams, and Washington Commanders to win their 3rd conference title in 8 seasons. The Chiefs, just whatever, more the same. They got the AFC's first round bye and made relatively easy work of the Houston Texans in the divisional round before handing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills yet another devastating playoff loss. KC held on for a 32-29 victory in the AFC Championship game to reach a 3rd straight Super Bowl, as well as their 5th in 6 years. But here is where the conspiracy theorists and believers of the Super Bowl logo thing get another boost. The Eagles and Chiefs both benefited tremendously from terrible officiating on Conference Championship weekend. Could it be that Roger Goodell and his refs were really in on the fix to make sure it was a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl? Which would maybe add a bit more confirmation to that logo theory? Also worth noting that the Commanders were penalized 9 times in the NFC Championship game. Philly, on the other hand, only 4 times. And in the 4th quarter, head official Sean Hoegler got tired of the Commanders committing back-to-back encroachment penalties that he ended up making a sort of fishy announcement to the fans, stating that Washington has been advised that he can award Philly an automatic touchdown if that behavior continues.
At some point, the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again.
There were several questionable calls that went against the Bills and their AFC Championship game loss to the Chiefs, too. Perhaps the most suspicious call by the officials came with 13 minutes left in the game and Buffalo up by 1 point. Josh Allen tried to sneak for a first down on 4th and inches in KC territory to keep the drive going. Officials initially stated that he was short of the first down marker, and a subsequent review upheld that ruling. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Gene Steratore all stated on the CBS broadcast that they thought Allen got that first down. Here, have a view at the side angle and decide for yourself. The Chiefs got the ball back and scored a touchdown on a Patrick Mahomes run. They wouldn't trail again, with Butker's late field goal and a Bills turnover on downs icing the game for Andy Reid and company. And once more, just throwing it out there, the Bills colors aren't featured in the Super Bowl 59 logo. Hey, just saying. So, conclusion. Eagles and Chiefs upheld the Super Bowl 59 logo conspiracy theory for the 3rd time in 4 years. Or 3rd and a half time in 4 years, however you want to look at it. I'm sorry, NFL, but your Super Bowl logos and choices of colors aren't putting an end to the conspiracy theories about the league being fixed and rigged. A little piece of advice, if you want the madness to end, you best go back to your primary use of gray-colored logos that were used back in the 2010s. So is there legitimacy to this whole thing? Well, perhaps nothing concrete, but, well, at that same time, you can't ignore the fact that, yeah, so far, there has been a fairly consistent pattern. But of course, it is a fairly small sample size, so I guess we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled to the future. But hey, do you believe in the Super Bowl logo conspiracy theory, or is it all just a coincidence? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton, and you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time going around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.